Dr. Elena Martinez pressed her face against the cold glass of the observation deck. Stars filled the endless black space around the research station New Horizon. She had been studying alien life forms for 10 years, but she had never seen anything like what floated outside. The escape pod was small and badly damaged. Burn marks covered its strange metal surface. Elena could see wires hanging loose from holes in the hull. The pod spun slowly as it drifted toward their station. "Captain Morrison wants to see you in the medical bay," said Lieutenant Pete Johnson. His face looked worried. "We brought the pod inside 10 minutes ago." Elena hurried through the narrow halls of the station. Her heart beat fast with excitement. Finding alien technology was rare. Finding a living alien was almost impossible. The medical bay doors slid open with a soft sound. Captain Jake Morrison stood near a metal table. Dr. Amy Foster was checking readings on her medical equipment. On the table lay something that made Elena stop breathing for a moment. The alien was clearly female, though very different from any human. Her skin was covered in small scales that changed color from blue to purple to green. She had 4 arms, all thin and graceful. Her head was larger than a human head, with big eyes that seemed to hold great sadness. She was breathing, but very slowly. "Is she alive?" Elena asked in a whisper. "Barely," Dr. Foster said. "Her body temperature is very low. I think she's in some kind of sleep state to stay alive." Her pod had almost no power left. Elena moved closer. The alien's scales shifted from dark blue to bright yellow as Elena approached. The colors moved across her skin like waves. "Look at this," Captain Morrison said. He pointed to scratches on the metal table. "She did this before she went unconscious. We think she was trying to tell us something." Elena looked at the scratches. They formed rough pictures. She could see what looked like large ships shaped like spiders. Around them were smaller shapes that might be planets. Lines connected everything together. "What do you think it means?" asked Dr. Foster. Before Elena could answer, the alien's eyes opened. They were huge and completely black, like looking into deep space. The alien saw the humans and tried to sit up. Her scales flashed bright red with panic. "Easy," Elena said softly. "We want to help you." The alien looked at each human face carefully. Then she pointed at the scratches she had made. She made more scratches quickly with one finger. Her other 3 arms moved in the air, making shapes and gestures. "She's trying to talk to us," Elena said. Captain Morrison shook his head. "She's probably confused from her injuries. Maybe brain damage," but Elena watched carefully. The alien drew the same spider shapes over and over. She pointed at them and then at the ceiling, toward space. Her scales turned bright red each time she drew the spiders. When she drew smaller round shapes, her scales became soft blue. "I think these round things are planets," Elena said. "And these spider things," and she paused. "I think they're ships. Big ships." The alien heard Elena's words and nodded quickly. She grabbed Elena's hand with 2 of her arms. Her skin felt warm and smooth. The alien pointed to the spider drawings and made a sound like breaking glass. Then she covered her eyes with her other 2 hands. "What's wrong with her?" Dr. Foster asked. Elena studied the alien's face. Tears were falling from those big black eyes. Real tears, just like humans cried. The alien was not crazy or confused. She was scared and sad about something terrible. "I don't think anything is wrong with her," Elena said slowly. "I think she's trying to warn us about something." Captain Morrison looked doubtful. "Warn us about what?" The alien heard his question. She drew more pictures with her finger, faster now. She drew the spider ships attacking the round planets. She drew lines showing the planets being destroyed. Her scales flashed red and yellow with urgent colors. Then she pointed up at the ceiling again. She touched her chest and made sad sounds. She pointed to the spider drawings and shook her head hard. "I think her people were attacked," Elena said. "I think these spider ships destroyed her home." Dr. Foster checked her equipment again. "Her heart rate is very high. She's definitely upset about something." The alien suddenly grabbed a pen from Dr. Foster's pocket. She drew a large star on the table. Around it, she drew many small circles. Then she drew arrows pointing from the spider ships toward the star. Elena felt cold fear in her stomach. "I think she's trying to tell us they're coming here." Captain Morrison laughed, but it didn't sound happy. "That's impossible. We've never seen ships like these. Our long-range sensors would detect anything that big." The alien heard him and shook her head. She pointed to herself, then to a small shape near the destroyed planets in her drawing. She was showing them that she had escaped from the attack. Elena knelt down next to the table. "What's your name?" she asked gently. The alien touched her own chest. The scales on her throat began to glow with soft patterns. The light moved in waves across her neck and face. Elena realized this was how the aliens' people talked to each other. "We need to find a way to understand her," Elena said. "If she's right about these ships, we need to know everything she can tell us." Captain Morrison looked at the drawings again. "Even if she's telling the truth, what could we do? If ships that big exist, we couldn't fight them." The alien seemed to understand his worried tone. She reached out and touched Elena's face gently with one hand. Her scales showed soft blue and green colors. Elena felt the alien was trying to say she wanted to help them. "Her name sounds like Kira when she makes those throat sounds," Dr. Foster said. "Should we call her that?" Elena nodded. "Kira, can you show us more about these ships?" Kira's scales brightened. She began drawing again, showing Elena and the others everything she could remember about the spider ships that had destroyed her world and killed her people. Elena watched every line Kira drew, knowing that this strange alien woman might be their only hope of survival. 3 weeks had passed since they found Kira floating in space. Elena spent every day working with the alien woman, trying to understand her warnings. Kira was getting stronger, but she still had terrible dreams that made her scales flash bright red with fear. Elena sat in her small lab, looking at hundreds of drawings Kira had made. The pictures showed the same story over and over. Spider-shaped ships as big as moons, planets being torn apart, people running and screaming, and always at the end nothing left but empty space. The door to her lab opened. Lieutenant Johnson came in looking excited. "Dr. Martinez, you need to come to the sensor room right away," he said. "Commander Parker wants to see you." Elena followed him through the station halls. In the sensor room, Commander Lisa Parker stood in front of a large screen showing space radar readings. Her face looked tense. "Look at this," Commander Parker said, pointing to the screen. "Our long-range sensors picked up something strange 3 hours ago." Elena looked at the readings. Large objects were moving through space toward the human colonies. The computer showed their size and shape. Elena's blood turned cold. The objects looked exactly like the spider ships in Kira's drawings. "How big are they?" Elena asked. "Each one is about the size of a small moon," said sensor operator Bill Davis. "We've never seen anything like them. They're moving faster than any ship we know about." Elena felt sick to her stomach. "We need to warn everyone." Kira was right about everything. Commander Parker shook her head. "Dr. Martinez, you're letting that alien's fear get to you. These could be natural space objects, maybe asteroids shaped by solar winds. But they're moving in formation," Elena said. "And they're headed straight for our colonies." "That could be coincidence," Commander Parker replied. "We can't cause panic over drawings made by a traumatized alien who might not even remember things correctly." Elena ran back to the medical bay where Kira was staying. The alien woman was sitting on her bed, making more drawings on paper Dr. Foster had given her. When she saw Elena's worried face, Kira's scales turned dark blue. "Kira," Elena said, sitting down next to her. "The ships you warned us about. We found them on our sensors." Kira understood enough human words now to know what Elena meant. Her scales flashed bright yellow with alarm. She grabbed Elena's hands and made urgent sounds with her throat. The glowing patterns on her skin moved faster than Elena had ever seen. Over the past weeks, Elena had learned to read some of Kira's light patterns. The alien was saying "run" and "hide" and "too late" over and over. "Tell me more about your people," Elena said gently. "Help me understand what happened to them." Kira took a deep breath. She had been practicing human words, though they were hard for her to say. "My people. Valari," she said slowly. "We travel. Learn about stars. Peace people. No war." Elena nodded. "You were explorers like us." "Yes," Kira said. Her scales showed sad purple colors. "We find machines at edge of our space. They're not alive, but they think. They build themselves bigger and bigger." Kira drew a picture of her home planet. It was beautiful with blue oceans and green lands. Then she drew the spider ships arriving. "Machines come to our world," Kira continued. "We try to talk. They no listen. They only want to eat everything." "Eat everything?" Elena asked. Kira nodded. "They take apart our cities, take apart our people, take apart our animals and plants. They use everything to make more machines. In 6 hours, nothing left of my world." Elena felt tears in her eyes. "How did you escape?" "I was on science ship far from home," Kira said. "When machines came, my family tried to run to me. But machines too fast. I saw my mate and children die on communication screen. Kira's scales went completely black for a moment. Elena had learned this meant the deepest sadness. These machines, Elena said. Do they have a weakness? Any way to stop them? Kira thought carefully. They all connected, like one big mind. If you break connection, they get confused. But no one ever survived long enough to try. Elena stood up quickly. I need to tell Earth Command about this. She ran to the communication room. Admiral Ryan Torres appeared on the main screen when she called Earth. He was a large man with gray hair and a serious face. Admiral Torres, Elena said, we have a serious threat approaching our colonies. The alien survivor has given us information about hostile machines. Admiral Torres looked tired. Dr. Martinez, I've read your reports. One traumatized alien is not enough evidence to mobilize our entire fleet. These could be natural phenomena. Sir, with respect, we can't take that chance, Elena said. If Kira is right, these machines will destroy everything in their path. The alien's name is Kira now? Admiral Torres asked. Doctor, I think you're too emotionally involved with this creature. Aliens don't think like humans. They might not even understand what they're telling us. Elena felt angry, but she kept her voice calm. Admiral, please look at the sensor data. These objects are moving in perfect formation toward our colonies. That's not natural. We're studying the data, Admiral Torres said. But we won't cause galaxy-wide panic because an alien drew some pictures. The communication ended. Elena stared at the blank screen, feeling helpless. That night, Elena sat in her lab making a decision that could end her career. She opened a secret communication channel to all human colonies. She began transmitting everything Kira had told her about the machines, along with the sensor readings of the approaching objects. This is Dr. Elena Martinez on Research Station New Horizon, she said into the transmitter. I'm sending you urgent information about a threat to all human worlds. Please begin evacuation procedures immediately. She included all of Kira's drawings and their best translation of her warnings. Elena knew she was breaking many rules, but she couldn't let people die because others wouldn't listen. Kira appeared in the doorway of the lab. Her scales were showing soft blue and green patterns, which Elena had learned meant gratitude and hope. You believe me? Kira said in her careful human words. Yes, Elena said, and I'm going to help you save as many people as possible. Kira walked over and put one of her 4 hands on Elena's shoulder. Your people strong. Maybe they survive what mine could not. Elena looked at the star charts showing the approaching machines. I hope you're right, Kira. I really hope you're right. The alarm bells rang through Research Station New Horizon at 0600 hours. Elena ran to the main command center, where Captain Morrison and his crew were staring at the communication screens with horror. What's happening? Elena asked. Haven Prime is under attack, Captain Morrison said. His voice was quiet and shocked. The colony is sending emergency signals. On the main screen, they could see video feeds from Haven Prime, a peaceful farming world with 2 million people. Elena watched as massive spider-shaped ships descended from space. The ships were exactly like Kira's drawings, but seeing them real and moving made Elena feel sick with fear. The spider ships were huge beyond imagination. Each one was the size of a mountain. Their metal legs reached down and began tearing apart buildings like they were made of paper. Strange smaller machines poured out of the ships like insects. Are they trying to communicate? Asked Lieutenant Johnson. No, Captain Morrison replied. They're not answering any signals. They're just taking everything apart. Elena watched in horror as the smaller machines worked with terrible efficiency. They broke down buildings, vehicles, and even plants into basic materials. Then they carried everything back to the spider ships. Where are the people? Elena whispered. The answer came too quickly. On one video feed, they saw civilians running from the machines. The mechanical beings simply grabbed the people and carried them away like they were just more materials to be processed. This is impossible, said Commander Parker. How can they work so fast? Elena thought of Kira's words. They're connected, like one giant mind controlling everything. The battle for Haven Prime lasted exactly 6 hours and 12 minutes. Elena watched the entire colony disappear. 2 million people, hundreds of cities, vast farms and forests. Everything was broken down and consumed by the machines. When they were finished, the spider ships lifted back into space, leaving behind a dead gray world with nothing on it. Captain Morrison sat in his command chair, staring at the empty planet on the screen. "Dr. Martinez," he said slowly, "I owe you an apology." The alien. Kira. She tried to warn us. Elena felt no satisfaction in being right. We need to warn everyone else. Admiral Torres forbid us from causing panic, Commander Parker said. Captain Morrison stood up. Admiral Torres hasn't seen what we just saw. He turned to the communications officer. "Open all channels. Send this recording to every human world and ship." "Sir, that's against direct orders," the communications officer said. "Do it anyway," Captain Morrison said firmly. "I won't let more people die because we followed rules." Elena ran to find Kira. The alien woman was in the medical bay and her scales were flashing rapid patterns of red and yellow. Somehow she already knew what had happened. "They come fast," Kira said when she saw Elena. "Always same, no warning, no mercy." "Kira, you said these machines have a weakness," Elena said urgently. "Tell me everything you know." Kira's scales showed deep blue sadness. "My people try everything. Big weapons, fast ships, hiding underground. Nothing work. Machines too strong. Too many. But you said they're all connected," Elena pressed. "What does that mean?" Kira drew a picture of many spider ships with lines connecting them. "All machines share one mind. They think together, plan together. That make them very strong." Elena studied the drawing. "What happens if you break the connections?" "If connection break, machines get confused," Kira said. "They know work together, but connection very hard to break. You must get inside big ship, reach thinking center, while machines are working." "Has anyone ever tried that?" Kira's scales went dark. "My mate try. He's scientist like you. He say if we put virus in thinking center, maybe we stop them. But he no survive to reach center." Elena felt a spark of hope. "A virus. Like a computer virus that spreads through their network." "Yes," Kira said. "But virus must be put in center during big fight. When machines use all connections to control attack. If no fighting, connections not open enough." Elena understood. So someone would have to get inside one of those ships while they're attacking a planet. "Yes, suicide mission," Kira said sadly. "No one ever survive. That why machines never defeated." Elena looked at the video feed still coming from other colonies. Human ships were mobilizing to fight the machines, even though the spider ships were much bigger and more powerful. "Kira," Elena said, "what makes you think humans might be different?" Kira's scales showed a pattern Elena had never seen before, gold mixed with blue. "I watch human shows on your communication systems. I see human history in your computers. Your people do something mine never do. What's that?" "When fight is hopeless, when everyone should run, humans keep fighting anyway," Kira said. "Your people fight even when they know they die. My people too smart for that. We always choose life over useless death." Elena thought about human history. All the wars where people fought against impossible odds. All the last stands where humans chose to fight rather than surrender. "You think that might help us?" "Maybe," Kira said. "These machines, they expect smart people who run when fighting is hopeless. They no expect people crazy enough to keep fighting when they should surrender." Captain Morrison's voice came over the ship's speakers. "All hands, we're joining the fleet gathering at Frontier Station. We're going to make a stand against these machines." Elena looked at Kira. "Are you willing to help us? Even though we're not your people?" Kira's scales showed bright gold patterns. "Your people saved my life. Now I help save yours. We make virus together. Find way to reach machine thinking center." Elena stood up. "Then let's get to work. We don't have much time." As Elena and Kira began planning their desperate attack on the machine network, more reports came in from across human space. The spider ships were attacking 3 more colonies. But something strange was happening. Instead of running, human ships were charging straight at the massive machines, even knowing they would be destroyed. For the first time since her world died, Kira's scales showed the gold pattern that meant hope. Maybe humans really were crazy enough to succeed where every other species had failed. The spider ships moved through human space like a deadly wave. Each day brought news of another colony under attack. But something was happening that surprised everyone, including Kira. Humans were not running. Elena watched the battle reports in the command center. At Riverside Colony, Captain Steve Walsh and his cargo ship had rammed straight into a spider ship's leg. The collision destroyed Walsh's ship and killed his entire crew, but it also created the first real damage anyone had ever done to the machines. "Look at this," Lieutenant Johnson said, pointing to a damage report. "The spider ship's leg is actually broken. It's limping." Kira studied the images with wide eyes. Her scales showed colors Elena had never seen before, bright silver mixed with gold. "In all stories of my people, no one ever hurt the machines," Kira said with wonder. "Your Captain Walsh, he do impossible thing." More reports came in. At New Texas Colony, miners had used explosives to collapse underground tunnels just as spider ships tried to enter them. At Port Luna, civilian ships flew suicide missions into the machine's sensors, blinding them long enough for evacuation ships to escape. Elena had been working with Kira for days, designing a computer virus that could disrupt the machine network. The work was incredibly difficult because the alien technology was so different from human computers. "The virus is ready," Elena announced to Captain Morrison. "But we have a problem." "What kind of problem?" Morrison asked. Elena pointed to her computer screen showing the virus program. "This virus needs to be planted directly into a machine command center while the spider ships are actively controlling an attack. Someone has to physically go inside one of those ships and upload it." The command center fell silent. Everyone understood what that meant. "It's a suicide mission," Commander Parker said quietly. "Yes," Elena replied. "The person who goes in won't come back out." Pilot Amy Chen stepped forward from the back of the room. She was young, maybe 25, with short brown hair and determined eyes. "I'll do it," Chen said simply. Captain Morrison shook his head. "Amy, you don't understand. This isn't just dangerous. It's certain death." "I understand perfectly," Chen replied. She looked at Kira. She lost her entire family, her whole world, trying to warn people about these machines. "The least I can do is try to stop them." Engineer Bobby Turner moved to stand next to Chen. "If Amy's going, she'll need the best ship we can build. I've been studying the alien escape pod. I think I can modify one of our fighters with stealth technology." Elena felt proud and sad at the same time. These humans were volunteering to die for people they didn't even know. Kira walked over to Amy Chen. The alien woman reached out with one of her 4 hands and touched Chen's face gently. Her scales showed the bright gold pattern that meant deep respect. "You have strong heart," Kira said in her careful human words, "like warrior from old stories." Bobby Turner worked for 3 days straight rebuilding a small fighter ship. He used metal from Kira's escape pod and copied its ability to hide from sensors. The new ship was tiny, built for only one person, and packed with the virus program. Meanwhile, the spider ships continued their advance toward Earth. Admiral Torres finally understood the threat was real and began gathering every human ship for one final battle. "We can't win," Admiral Torres said in a fleet-wide communication. "But we can buy time for the evacuation ships to get civilians to safety. Every minute we hold them is another 1,000 lives saved." Elena stood in the hangar, watching Bobby make final adjustments to Amy's ship. Kira was with her, teaching Amy everything she knew about spider ship layouts. "The command center is in the middle of ship," Kira explained, drawing diagrams. "Many guards, many passages. But during big fight, most machines will be outside ship controlling attack." Amy studied the drawings carefully. "How long do I need to upload the virus?" "Computers say 4 minutes," Elena answered. "But you must stay connected the whole time or upload will fail." Amy nodded. 4 minutes. "I can do that." The plan was simple but desperate. The human fleet would attack the spider ships with everything they had. During the chaos of battle, Amy would slip her stealth fighter through the fighting and dock with a command ship. She would fight her way to the command center, upload the virus, and hope it spread through the machine network before they killed her. Elena helped Amy into her flight suit. "Are you scared?" Elena asked. "Terrified," Amy admitted. "But Captain Walsh proved these machines can be hurt. Maybe I can prove they can be beaten." Kira approached with something in her hands. It was a small device from her escape pod, covered in the same patterns as her skin. "This is Memory Keeper from my people," Kira said, giving it to Amy. It holds stories of everyone who die fighting machines. You take it with you. You not fight alone. Amy accepted the device with both hands. Thank you, Kira. I'll make sure your people are remembered. The final battle was set to begin in 8 hours. The human fleet gathered near the ruins of Haven Prime, where the spider ships were building some kind of construction, using materials from the dead planet. Elena couldn't sleep. She walked through the station halls thinking about everything that had led to this moment. 3 weeks ago, she had been a simple researcher studying alien plants. Now she was helping plan humanity's last stand. She found Kira in the observation deck looking out at the stars. The alien woman's scales were showing soft blue patterns, the color of sadness mixed with hope. Do you think we can win? Elena asked. Kira was quiet for a long time. Your people different from mine, she finally said. My people too smart to fight hopeless battle. Your people too stubborn to accept defeat. Elena stood next to her. Is that enough? Maybe, Kira said. These machines, they conquer many worlds, many species. But they never fight people crazy enough to ram ships into them, crazy enough to fly into death to save strangers. Elena looked out at the stars where the final battle would soon begin. I guess we're about to find out if being crazy is enough. The final battle began at dawn over the dead world of Haven Prime. Elena watched from the new Horizons command center as thousands of human ships faced the spider machines in the debris field where a beautiful planet had once lived. The spider ships were even more terrifying up close. 50 of them hung in space like metal mountains, their legs moving slowly as they built strange structures from the remains of Haven Prime. When they detected the human fleet, all 50 ships turned toward the approaching vessels with mechanical precision. All ships, this is Admiral Torres, came the voice over the communication system. Remember, we're not here to win. We're here to buy time for Amy Chen to complete her mission. Every second counts. Elena looked at the tactical display. The human fleet had 800 ships. The spider machines had 50 ships, but each one was 100 times larger than the biggest human vessel. Amy, are you ready? Elena asked into her headset. Ready as I'll ever be, came Amy Chen's voice from her tiny stealth fighter. Beginning approach now. The battle started with a sound like thunder. Human missiles struck the spider ships, creating small explosions against their massive hulls. The machines responded by releasing clouds of smaller mechanical beings that swarmed toward the human fleet. Elena watched in horror as human ships disappeared in bright flashes. For every small damage they caused to a spider ship, 10 human vessels were destroyed. This is hopeless, Commander Parker said, watching the battle display. But Elena understood what was happening. No, it's exactly what Kira predicted. We're fighting even when we should run. On her screen, Elena could see Amy's stealth fighter moving through the chaos. The tiny ship dodged between explosions and mechanical swarms, heading for the largest spider ship at the center of the formation. Amy, you're approaching the command ship, Elena said into her headset. Kira says to look for the opening near the ship's center section. I see it, Amy replied. Her voice was calm despite the deadly battle around her. Going in now. Elena held her breath as Amy's fighter disappeared inside the spider ship. For several minutes there was only silence from Amy's communicator. Amy, report, Elena said. I'm inside. Amy's voice crackled with static. This place is huge. The walls are covered with machines I've never seen before. Kira leaned over Elena's shoulder, speaking into the microphone. Follow lights that pulse like heartbeat. Those lead to Thinking Center. Found them, Amy said, moving deeper into the ship. Outside, the battle was getting worse. Elena watched as Captain Morrison ordered their own ship to join the fight. The New Horizon shook as missiles exploded nearby. Amy, you need to hurry, Elena said. We can't hold them much longer. I'm at some kind of door, Amy reported. It's covered in symbols that look like Kira's skin patterns. Kira's scales flashed with urgent colors. She found it. Tell her touch symbols in pattern I show you. Elena relayed Kira's instructions to Amy. After a few tense moments, Amy's voice came back. I'm in. This room is incredible. There's a massive computer in the center and it's connected to cables that run throughout the ship. That's the thinking center, Elena said. Upload the virus now. Elena heard the sound of Amy connecting her equipment to the alien computer. Upload starting, Amy said. Computer shows 4 minutes remaining. Those 4 minutes felt like hours. Elena listened to Amy's breathing over the communicator while watching human ships die on the battle display. Half the fleet was already gone. 1 minute left, Amy reported, but then her voice changed. I've got company. Machines found me. Elena heard the sound of Amy's weapon firing. Amy, stay connected to the computer. No matter what happens, don't disconnect. Understood, Amy said. She was breathing hard now. 30 seconds. Come on, come on. The sound of weapon fire grew louder. Elena heard Amy cry out in pain, but the upload continued. Upload complete, Amy said weakly. Virus is spreading through their network. The effect was immediate and amazing. On the battle display, Elena watched as the spider ships suddenly stopped their coordinated movements. The machines began turning their weapons on each other as if they couldn't tell friend from enemy. It's working, Commander Parker shouted. The spider ships are attacking each other. The mechanical beings that had been swarming human ships now turned and began fighting among themselves. The perfect coordination that had made them unstoppable was gone. All ships attack now, Admiral Torres ordered. They're confused. This is our chance. The remaining human ships charged at the disoriented spider machines. Without their network coordination, the giant ships were slow and clumsy. Human weapons that had barely scratched them before now found weak points and caused real damage. One by one, the spider ships began exploding. The mechanical beings that had seemed invincible fell apart as their shared intelligence collapsed. Elena tried to contact Amy, but there was only silence from her communicator. Amy Chen had given her life to save humanity, just as she had promised. The battle lasted another hour, but the outcome was certain. When it ended, all 50 spider ships were destroyed, floating as dead metal in space. The human fleet had lost 600 ships and hundreds of thousands of people, but they had won. In the weeks that followed, Elena and Kira worked together to design new defenses for human space. They used technology from the destroyed spider ships to build sensors that could detect machine networks from far away. Kira chose to stay with the humans rather than search for other survivors of her people. Earth Command gave her citizenship and a home on New Horizons Station. Why do you want to stay with us? Elena asked her one day. Kira's scales showed the warm gold pattern that meant contentment. My people are gone, but your people give me new family. Together we make sure no other worlds suffer like mine did. 1 year later, Elena stood in a classroom on Earth watching Kira teach human children about the stars. The alien woman's scales glowed with soft blue patterns as she told stories of distant worlds and the importance of protecting all life. The children listened with wonder, not seeing a strange alien creature but a teacher who had helped save their world. Kira was no longer the broken survivor who had arrived in an escape pod. She had become humanity's guardian, making sure they would never again be caught unprepared for threats from space. Elena smiled as she watched Kira answer the children's endless questions. The alien widow who everyone had called insane had become the savior of 2 species. Her own people, whose memory she preserved, and humanity, whose future she had helped secure. The spider machines were gone, but Elena knew other threats might come from the vast darkness of space. When they did, humanity would be ready, guided by the wisdom of an alien friend who had taught them that sometimes the difference between extinction and survival was simply refusing to give up hope.